Now, since early this year, hundreds of thousands of Israelis have joined unprecedented mass rallies against the country's most right-wing government ever and its highly controversial plans to overhaul the justice system. Now, there are signs that more secular Israelis are considering leaving the country, with one recent poll suggesting 1 in 3 Israelis were thinking of emigrating, while a survey of doctors indicated a high number were seeking to move overseas. Relocation firms and lawyers have told the BBC they're seeing a spike in business. Our Middle East correspondent Yolande Nel sent this report from Tel Aviv.
Another takeover of downtown Tel Aviv. For 6 months, weekend family outings for this top Israeli radiologist have been at these huge anti-government protests. But now, Professor Chen Hoffman's planning a more radical step, moving to a hospital in the UK.
I'm going to London for a sabbatical, and this will be my laboratory to see if I can live outside Israel.
He may leave for good.
In the long term, if the situation will be so bad, it's worsening every day, we'll find a place to live outside Israel. We all have European passports.
And others also think of emigrating as hardline ministers push through highly controversial laws that would weaken oversight of the government by the courts.
Unfortunately, many of my friends check the options in other countries.
I will not raise my kids in a country which is not democratic.
What do we want? People are coming out on the streets week after week to protest the dramatic changes that are being made to Israel's justice system. But there are also deep social divisions that are opening up in the country. People are worried about the future direction that Israel's taking.
Israel's current governing coalition relies on ultra-Orthodox Jews and religious ultra-nationalists, who represent fast-growing parts of the population. As liberal, secular Israelis become a smaller minority, they fear the courts will no longer be able to protect their rights. Experts warn if it happens, an exodus could be devastating.
When the truly talented people who carry on their shoulders the innovation and the economic development that this country is so dependent on, when they decide they've had enough, then we could see a collapse, an economic collapse.
This is the main square.
I visit Professor Hoffman at the Israeli hospital where he currently works as a fetal neuroradiologist. He says, like him, many medics now consider heading overseas.
Even now we have a shortage of doctors, so if even 5% will not come back, it will be a disaster.
Back at the big protests in Tel Aviv, the fight for the government to change track goes on at full volume. But another challenge is also building, with more Israelis quietly planning an exit. Yolande Nel, BBC News, Tel Aviv.